And I suppose there's not much of a debate really in terms of the people that really needed any kind of relief are concerned. Let me start with you, Aviwe, at the post office, outside the post office in Pretoria. What are the scenes that you are seeing there? I can imagine frustration for people who have not been paid out.
Certainly frustration, and it's almost noon here, Bratulas, in Pretoria, but already the queues behind me show you the number of people that are out in numbers just to get that 350 SRD grant. You'll find out that they have been in this queue since the early hours of the morning. I just want to touch with some of them to find out if this social grant has been of any help. Waltangwenya, I'm going to start with you. Thank you for joining us at ENC. What time did you get here, and how has this grant been helpful, if it has?
Ngifike la ngo3 o'clock, but abantu abaningi balala la, abanye bafika ngama 2:30, and then yona imali le iyasebenzela ngoba iyasiza lapho nalapho ngoba abanye sama breadwinner emakhaya, but incane besicela just ukuthi at least government mangazama kuyi-adjusta and then ayenze permanent.
That would be of help. What do you think would be the right criteria that would be of assistance?
Yeah, imali ngibona ngathi izaba ngcono yi500 or 580, somewhere khona lapho at least izaba ngconywana ngoba iza kuthenga ukudla ngoba i350 we just eat for 2 weeks and then it's finished.
Okay, let me move to Ulaki Kabi. Lucky, thank you for joining us at ENC. But when ufike ngabani ixesha apha, and you understand that this grant is coming to the end in April, your thoughts around that?
Since ngifika mo ka 4 o'clock ke me line no kodile chelete ya 1 month, it's March, if imfile ya April, so no kopela government arna re utlwele botlhoko at least ba rokeletse chelete be 1,000 rand or re ke ra mebereko at least ba khona register go meberekong ka taba re tla ba re khatha ko garante, so e ba sa iri ka mokho re ka stule re kerile memereko me permanent already re tlo nna lantse re nnetse chelete yone e nyane.
Okay, thank you, Lucky. Mdomkulu, I want to touch with you quickly. What can government do to assist the people just that are here?
Government, if it can maybe extend this 350 to be a permanent income for the poor people, and secondly, maybe to reduce this queues, people spending more than 8 hours. They must also do like the old ages where they get it, their grant to the pick and pay and shop rice, because our people, they spend more than 8 hours on the queue for, and some of them, our people, they are having a chronic sick. That can maybe help us. Yes, Machi.
Thank you very much. The elderly gentleman asking for this grant to be made permanent for those that can't afford and those that are unemployed. But you heard the times, Batulas, people arriving as early as 3 o'clock. Gentleman telling us that, in fact, he was here while many other people were already in the queues, some of them sleeping outside this post office, yet they still haven't been served. The big concerns around the amount, that is 350. They're asking at least it could be above 500 or 580 rand going up. That could go a long way in assisting them on the ground.
Yeah. Let's take it to Lethiwe Mdluli, who is in Cliffdale outside Pinetown. Lethiwe, in that community where you are, what are some of the stories that people have been sharing with you about the impact of the SRD grant, the Social Relief of Distress grant, linked to the lockdown and COVID-19?
Well, Tulas, I've been speaking to a lot of people here in Clifton and also in Pinetown. Earlier on, I was outside the post office there, where I spoke to some beneficiaries who did share that they'd been there since yesterday trying to get service. They just wanted to be in front of the line to make sure that they actually get services today. Most of the people that I've spoken to do say that they do want the money extended, as we all know that the president did announce that it will only be extended for 3 months. So next month, the money might not actually these recipients rather might not actually receive this money, but majority of the recipients are saying that this money has come in handy. But right now I'm joined by two the people who are recipients, and they're just going to be basically telling me about how this money has been helpful to them. Sisi, we've been talking lana, and ubungichazela ukuthi le mali biwusizo kanjani kunini. Ngicela ungichazele nje ukuthi njengoba uhulumeni enikeze i-extension, ningathini kuyena ukuthi aqhubeke anikeze le mali?
Kuhulumeni ngingathi akaqhubeka asinikeze imali ngoba sinezindleko zezidingo zeimali, sinezingane, ayikwazi ukuthi sikwazi ukusupporta kahle izingane ezincane. Sicela ukuthi angayivali aphinde futhi ayifake enye imali ngaphezulu.
Kule nyanga kaMarch nike nayithola imali?
Cha, mina ngiyitholanga.
Babetheni kwi-post office kaDwebhek?
Ngahamba bathi ikhona imali esi-on ngafanga ngayithola. Ngagcina lapha ngiphinda ke ngaya ngoba phela kubanja nama-queue nemali yokugibela.
Ubuyithola zonke izinyanga le mali?
Cha, ngiyithola u3 months kuphela. Kwezinye izinyanga angizange ngiyithole ngenxa yokuthi sibaningi sibamba ama-queue ukuthi ulayini abantu sebebaningi sangakwazi ukuyithola, uvuke nangakusasa uyuphinda ungayitholi, ngagcina sengihleli sengasayitholi.
Uma uyithola for leyo nyanga noma ifika isiningi?
Cha, uyithola nje u350. Akwenzeki ukuthi ibhanqane, uyithola nje u350.
And also I'm joined by this gentleman who's also a recipient of the grant. I just want to know Bhuti ukuthi le mali bikusiza kanjani njengoba ungichazela nje ukuthi awusebenzi wagcina ukusebenza last year.
Ubaba Raphasa kade sicela angayivali lokhoza imali o350 ngoba manje siphila nezingane ezincane, siningi sibaningi emhlabeni, sineyinkinga, kunabantu abasayintandane abanganalutho emhlabeni. Manje okuningi abaningi bafisa kusho ubugebengu, manje ubugebengu akuze kubusize, ubugebengu ugcina usuboshiwe. Lokho kufunakala kunjalo, kufunela into yonke into moyenza uphinde uyibheke ukuthi wenza kanjani kusasa ingakufakela amehlo abantu. Sifisa ngasihulumeni angasisiza nje kakhulu ngoba ngasasebenzi nje kwathina. Kwamina ngibheka izingane zasekhaya, nobaba washiya emhlabeni, nomana uyihlalela ihlalele khona. Imina manje njengomuntu omdala ekhaya, mina inkosana ngumana. Manje zonke izinto mangithi ngiyasibheka, ngiyabona yonke into ihlale kumina, ihlale emahlombe, nemali yokurenta futhi angisayikho incane. Asazi uhulumeni angasiza kanjani, kodwa ade sifisa uhulumeni nje angayivali ngoba manje kunabantu abaphila ngayo. Uma kathiwa ngempela uhulumeni wayivala, singagcina silale singadlile, singagcina mhlambe ushabaningi sigcina sesilale etradini, lento engafunakala igcina soyiphara, lento engafunakala. Kodwa ade sicela nje uhulumeni nje asisize kuleyo ndawo.
Ungathanda ukuthi ibe imalini le mali?
Kade sithanda ukuthi uhulumeni nje ngathi nje ewu350 nje noma nje angasinyanezela nje noma nje ngaba nje noma 650 noma 700 sibone ukuthi singenza nje mhlambe leyo mali. Isiningi izinto singazenza ngoba manje ukudla kudinga wena, into yokugqoka idinga wena, ingane izofuna ukudla iphinda futhi ifuna imali esikoleni, uzoyithathaphi imali ngoba manje kunzima ekubamba abantu inkunzi. Ekugcineni ngicela ubulana abantu ubugebengu abusizi ke bazalwane, kodwa nje ngifisa ngathi uhulumeni nje angasisiza kakhulu nje yonke ibe right emhlabeni kaNkulunkulu, sibambisane njengokuthi njengoba savota abazalwane nje yonke into sifisa nathi ilunge, kungangamalungelo. Kunabantu abalungelelwayo, kunabantu abangalungele, kuyakhethwa emhlabeni, kunabantu angani noma kwenzekani, kunabantu abakhethwayo ezweni lokuphila.
Okay, ngiyabonga kakhulu. So Thulas, coming back to you in studio, in short, basically the people are just saying that they are pleading with government to continue actually paying this grant because it's helping them and their families. Some of them are pleading for the grant to be extended and also increased for maybe about 500 rands.
Yeah, indeed. It does seem to be a constant refrain there, the call for the grant to be maintained going forward. Of course, debates will arise around the sustainability and affordability of that given the state of our fiscus, but certainly that voice is there. And I imagine, Ronald Masinda, as I bring it to you in Cape Town, that the voices you are hearing from your side are echoing pretty much the same sentiment, that this has been, this grant has had an impact, certainly in as far as those who were able to be approved for it and actually receive it, but disruptive when it's not paid out.
Well, a lot of the stories that we've been hearing since we've been covering the story early this morning in Cape Town, the stories of desperation. Many people are saying that they've been applying but have been not getting any answers from Sassa since the grant came out. They've also been saying that some of them have even been not even told as to why the applications have not been successful. At the moment, we are in Kwalanga. This is where we're going to be speaking to Eva Khumalo. She's a 55-year-old who's been unemployed since 1992. She hails from Kimberley and has been living here in Kwalanga ever since then. Eva, dankie baie vir jou tyd. Kan mevrou vir ons sê, kry jy die R350 en hoe voel jy?
Ek kry die 350 en ek is baie bly ek kry die 350, maar wat ek net sê, ek vra net 'n bietjie verhoger, want because daar is die inskomste vir ons kan nie lig koop nie, ons kan nie vir ons toiletry koop, ons kan niks koop nie. Maar ek is baie bly, ek kry terug van April maand af, kry ek 350 en ek is baie bly, ek kry dit, ek het nie gehoor, nee, daar is die geld vir jou, as ek kry, al die dag kry ek my geld, ek is bly vir dit, maar net bietjie verhoger, asseblief.
All right. Eva Khumalo basically saying that to us that she does get the 350 rand regularly, but her biggest concern is that it's very difficult to make ends meet on 350 rand alone, especially given that she is unemployed and her boyfriend as well is also unemployed. So this is one of the stories that we've also been hearing, people saying that with 350, and given that a lot of things are expensive like groceries, she also mentioned the issue with she also has to pay electricity as a backyard dweller. She simply cannot make ends meet. I'm going to call on one more gentleman quickly just to give us a sense of, well, some of the stories that we've been hearing here. Mawetu, sabulela kalume kolqala tata. All right, sithini story sakho bosethu yeke uphangela since 2018.
Since 2018 zange ndayifumana. Zakubanga ngayifumana namhlanje bayandikhaba every time, I apply 2 times. Zange ndayifumana. So ndisalindile nangoku.
Injani imeko yakho endlini since ulindile?
Ngiyasokoleka bhuti wami, sokoleka kakhulu. Abona usiphila ngesoup kitchen apha engingqini, asinandi konke siyifumanayo apha engingqini.
Nabulela ixesha lakho. Thulas Mawethu mentioning that he's been unemployed since 2018 and that here in Langa many people rely on soup kitchens like the one to my left, where since we arrived here a lot of people have come, a lot of young and old people have been given food by the lady at the door there. So the situation, although Good Samaritans have allowed the situation not to be as bad as it is for many South Africans across the country, but some people want more from government. They want more answers from Sassa. We are hoping to speak to Sassa at around 1 p.m. Just on the situation on the ground in many of the offices in Gugulet, where we were earlier on, quite a long queues, people telling us that not only are they grappling with issues of not receiving the 350 rand, but many of them are yet to receive disability grants. So that's just the reality that many of the people that we've been speaking to are faced with.
Yeah, and of course, Ronald, the conversation you've been having with that gentleman actually takes me back to the start of the social relief of distress grant, when there were many stories of people who were being rejected, who simply did not have an income from anywhere else, who believed that they met the criteria but were being rejected and being told that actually from what we've done, our background checks, it appears you are receiving some kind of an income. One wonders to the extent to which all of those issues were eventually resolved. Colleagues, let's leave it there for now. That's Ronald Masinda, Aviwe Mtila and Lethiwe Mdluli unpacking some of the stories, the authentic voices. I always love hearing the authentic voices, the lived experiences, unfiltered, people telling it from their perspective.